This is Jay Bala, AIP Asset Management in Toronto. I'm Thomas DeShooter from Bloom Strategies. Jay and I were just talking before this about the $4.5 trillion, yes, I said trillion dollars that the Federal Reserve is going to now look at unwinding in the U.S. What is this going to do if they start to do this? And then how do you actually do something like this?
Right. I mean, I think, maybe first off is, how did we get here? Why exactly does the Federal Reserve have $4.5 trillion, right? Yeah. And the answer is really get it back to 2008 for the financial crisis. Interest rates were already pretty close to zero. This was the only thing they could do, which was quantitative easing. It's effectively you're printing money and then using that money to buy bonds that you're issuing. Right. And so
you're buying your own debt with
cash
money
you print by yourself. Yes.
Got it.
And so what happened over a period of a few years is they've basically printed out a few $1 trillion in cash and bought a few $1 trillion in debt. That $4.5 trillion is basically split between U.S. Treasury bills and mortgage-backed bonds. A, we've never been here before, and B, how do you unwind this position? And the answer is, well, you're going to have to slowly sell it back into the market by about $2 trillion over the next 5 years, which is, it's going to be relatively slow, but I mean, keep in mind, it's never been done before. And injecting $2 trillion worth of supply into a market will obviously cause sort of bond prices to decline over time. And whatever we want to call the new normal, that might be, a 10-year bond with 3 or 4%, but at least, we're coming to some semblance of normality again.
So here, let me summarize this then. This is how my brain works on this, is that in the world of a free market, when they flooded the market with cash and bought their own bonds, they created scarcity in the bond market, which drove bond prices higher, which mean interest rates go down because they work inverse of each other, right? They work in the reverse.
Correct.
So now, over the next 5 years, they're going to potentially move $2 trillion of those bonds into the market, look for buyers, which then now floods the market with bonds,
right,
which will then have the opposite effect of bond prices going down and interest rates moving up. And what they're hoping to do is do it in a beautiful way in which interest rates don't go crazy, correct?
Exactly. I mean, the fear is that you put it out there too fast, or there's a panic and, there's sort of a mass or sort of run on the market, right? Which hopefully doesn't happen. Hopefully it's a nice, slow, smooth transition. But,
But having never been done before.
Yeah, this may cause a problem in the future.
So there should be like a warning label across this, right?
I mean, we laugh about it, but honestly, it is a bit scary. I mean, reality is it's a lot of money. And it's a lot of bonds you're going to be putting back into the market. So, I think, again, this comes back down to patience. I think, investors that are patient, willing to ride it out a bit, are going to end up with some pretty good yields once they wait it out, right? I mean, at the end of the day, you can't hold on to this stuff forever.
How are you going to prepare yourself for this inevitability?
The reality is you're going to have to stick to sort of shorter term bonds for now, right? You want to stay in sort of highly liquid positions. It's sort of like a slow moving train. You already know what's going to happen. You're just going to have to wait it out. You're going to have patience.